Hello everyone, my name is Abhishek and welcome back to my channel. So 2 days ago, a package called LiteLLM was compromised. The attack was so severe, it is considered one of the biggest security attacks in the world of AI. Why? Because through this attack, hackers got direct access to the end user systems. So they install the malware in a way. The malware copies sensitive information. It can be secrets, database credentials, API tokens, Kubernetes secrets, anything that is on the end user systems to the hacker's cloud environment. So you can understand the severity of this attack. If you are thinking you haven't installed this package before, let me tell you, this is an open source AI package. So if you installed XYZ package, and if that is using this as a transitive dependency, even in that case, you might be impacted. So just make sure you watch this video till the end. I'll explain you how exactly this attack was performed, how you can mitigate this issue. If you are vulnerable, how can you overcome this issue? And finally, I'll also tell you how can you prevent yourselves from these kind of attacks in the future. Let's get started. Let's start with understanding what exactly is the issue. So the latest two versions of this package, 1.82.7 and 1.82.8 were compromised. And these two versions were directly published to PyPI, the Python package index. So technically, 2 days ago, anyone who tried to install LiteLLM may be using pip install LiteLLM, or if they have the old versions of this package and accidentally if they run pip upgrade on their machine, they are potentially at risk. I already told you what is the risk. These two versions copy the sensitive information on the machine wherever they are installed. If they are installed on production, they copy the sensitive information from production and push that to the hacker's cloud environment. The big concerning point here is that LiteLLM is a very popular package. Thousands of developers download it on day-to-day basis. In fact, as of today, it is downloaded by millions of developers across different companies. Imagine the blast radius. If 10,000 developers have this version on their machine, so the sensitive information of the 10,000 developers is now with the hacker. That is the blast radius. You might have this question, but Abhishek, why is LiteLLM very popular? I'll give you a very simple use case so that you understand what is this package. Every company today, they want to have AI chatbot on their application. Today, if you go to the internet, you look at websites, they have an AI chatbot because you don't want users to talk to the customer support for every single issue. They can talk to the AI chatbot and get the resolution that is required for simple issues. Now, let's say there is a company that wants to build an AI chatbot. What developers do, no, the easiest case is that developers build a simple chat interface. Whenever user asks a query, the query is converted to the prompt within the application, and this prompt is sent to the AI models. For example, AI models that are public by OpenAI, Anthropic. How are they sent? They are sent through an API request, right? So developers take the query from the user, they put that in a prompt through an API request, they send it to the public AI models. And the response from this model is again sent back to the user. This is how AI chatbots are built. Now, the problem is that if you go back 2 years, OpenAI is probably the only company or the biggest company that is providing these AI models. So, what developers used to do, they just used to go to the OpenAI documentation. They see the API reference documentation, how API request is sent to the OpenAI models, and they used to add that within their application. But today, there are a lot of alternatives. Anthropic is a company, Amazon, Microsoft, a lot of companies provide their models. So if Anthropic models are cheaper, what organization wants? They want the developers to move from OpenAI models to the Anthropic models. Every time if they keep changing, The API reference keeps changing. So developers went to the OpenAI documentation. They understood the syntax for writing the API call. Now, if they have to go to Anthropic, they might have a different syntax. If they have to go to Microsoft models, they might have a different syntax. So to avoid this, within Python, if the applications are written in Python, there is a library called LiteLLM. So LiteLLM acts as a single interface. So within the application, now developers can go to the LiteLLM documentation, see how API call is made using LiteLLM. LiteLLM takes care of everything. Just tell it, I want to make API call to the Anthropic model, or I want to make API call to the OpenAI model. It will take care of it. Just like Terraform, right? So today, if you want to create a virtual machine on AWS, you don't need to know the API reference of AWS. You just need to know Terraform. Tomorrow, if you want to make or create a virtual machine on Azure, you just need to know Terraform. You don't need to know how API documentation of Azure looks like. The same thing LiteLLM performs with respect to the AI models. This is for your basic understanding. Now you might have understood why LiteLLM is very popular. Today, every company wants to build their AI chatbot. And if the application is written in Python, the obvious thing that developers do, they go to LiteLLM. It is open source and it is free, right? So you understood what is LiteLLM? Now let's see the impact. Okay. So what if these two versions are installed on the production machine of an organization, let's say? What are the things that are compromised? So what this package did, it can compromise your SSH keys, the public and the private keys. It can copy the cloud credentials. Let's say you have AWS credential on your local machine. If you're using the vulnerable version of LiteLLM, your AWS credentials are copied to the hacker's cloud. It can copy the database passwords. It can copy the Kubernetes configuration. It can copy the API tokens, maybe your Cloud API token, or maybe your OpenAI API token. In fact, it can also look at your environment variables. If there is something sensitive within the environment variable, it can also copy. Now, these things are confirmed by LiteLLM team themselves. So the maintainers of LiteLLM, they disclosed these are the things that are potentially compromised. But some sources on the internet say, now this is the bad part. If this is true, this can be a disaster. They say that if you have crypto wallets on your machine, the hackers also try to look at the crypto wallets. They try to steal the information from your crypto wallets. They also try to look at your shell history through the vulnerable package. Now, this is not confirmed yet by the maintainers, but these are the things that are already confirmed by the maintainers. Imagine this, your SSH keys, your cloud credentials, your DB secret, your Kubernetes credentials, most importantly, your AI API tokens. If they are compromised, you might run into a lot of billing issues as well. Now, the big question is, how did they do it? Okay, we have been talking that these are the compromised things. How did they actually achieve this? So what these hackers have done, they are calling themselves as Team PCP at the moment. So this is the name that they have given to themselves. We are not sure if this is an individual or if they are group. From 2025, they are operating and they have done a lot of powerful hacking attacks on the systems. Step one, what did they do is they basically hacked a package called Trivi. If you're into DevOps or DevSecOps, I'm sure you know it. So what is Trivi? Trivi is basically a tool that can scan your code, it can scan your containers, and it can tell if there are any security issues with your package. So first they got access to the Trivi package. If you want to know how did they get access to the Trivi package, I already made a video on it. Probably I'll put that in the description. You can take a look at it. Once they got access to the Trivi package, what they tried to do, they installed malicious code within the Trivi package, whatever we are talking about. copy the sensitive information and push it to the cloud. Now this is part of the Trivy package. From there, they looked at different repositories that are using Trivy in the CI/CD. LiteLLM is using Trivy in their CI/CD. It is on GitHub. It's an open source package. And what LiteLLM is doing within the GitHub actions, it is using Trivy for the scanning purpose. So indirectly, they did not get direct access to the LiteLLM package in step one. They first got access to Trivy. From Trivy, they installed malicious code in the latest version of Trivy. And because Trivy is used in CI/CD of the LiteLLM, from there, they got access to the LiteLLM. Now, what they did, once they got access to LiteLLM, this is an interesting thing. They did not directly add malicious code to LiteLLM, but what they did, they stole the secrets of the LiteLLM. On the GitHub repository, you know, within the settings, you have sensitive information like API keys. So they got access to the API keys of LiteLLM and they got publishing access. So what they did, they published malicious version of the LiteLLM to PyPI, the Python package index. Now, any developer, any DevOps engineers, they believe whatever is published to PyPI is secure. Whatever is published to PyPI is published by the maintainers themselves. So everyone started believing the package is in the PyPI and they started downloading the latest version of the package. That is how hackers got access to thousands of developer systems. Right? So let me explain the flow one more time. I know this might be confusing if you are looking at it for the first time. Initially, they got access to Trivy. So they hacked the Trivy software and then they installed malicious code in the Trivy. That is, copy the secrets and send it to the cloud environment. Because Trivy is used in CI/CD of LiteLLM, they got the API token that publishes the latest version of LiteLLM to PyPI. They stole this secret and they published malicious version of LiteLLM to the PyPI. Now, every developer that constantly uses LiteLLM, they look at PyPI. Whenever there is a new version, they download it. That's what we all do, right? If you are using a package, let's say we are using Kubernetes, whenever there is a new version of Kubernetes, we try to download it because we believe that is published by the maintainers of Kubernetes. Same thing happened here as well. Now, what is the action that LiteLLM has taken? Now that the issue is public, so what they did, they instantly approached PyPI. So it took almost 4 to 5 hours for them to realize what exactly is the issue. Once they realized what is the issue, they approached PyPI and they deleted the packages 1.18.82.7 and 1.82.8. And now they ask every developer that has this version to downgrade to maybe 1.82.6, which is the latest known safe version. Right? For now, they're asking developers to downgrade to 1.82.6. And also, they're working on understanding if any part of the application is compromised that they are not aware of. And once they get a clear picture, they will publish 1.82.9 maybe, or they might publish 1.83.0. Even they might publish 2.0.0, not sure. So they might do it in next couple of days. For now, this is the action item that they recommend the developers. Now, let me tell you, how can you avoid such situation in the future? So the first thing that you have to do not download every latest version that you see. Let's say you are using Kubernetes 1.35. Once Kubernetes 1.36 is published, do not straight away jump into it. First, read the release notes. See what are the things that are changed in this version. And then start using it in your lower environment. Directly do not push it to the production environment. Build a lower environment in a way where you don't have anything sensitive in the lower environment. Not only secrets, anything that can break your system. Try it on this environment. Once you are confident, watch it for 2 to 3 days. Only once you're confident, then consume the latest version on your local machine and also on the production. This is the very important thing that you have to do. Second, recommend this best practice within your organization. If someone is trying to install a package, ask them not to install something like pip install XYZ. Instead, what they have to do, pip install XYZ is equals to a particular version, maybe 1.0.0. Always pin the version that you want to download. A lot of us have this bad practice. Let's say we want to download Flask, we just run pip install Flask or pip install Django. But instead, what we have to start doing, pip install Flask is equals to 1.0.0, a particular version of Flask. If you start doing these two steps, you can prevent majority of the security attacks. Don't trust every possible version, even on your mobile. A lot of you have this option. Upgrade every time there is a new version. And Android or an iOS, you have this feature. Whenever there is a new version of the package, you automatically install it. Don't do that. Look at what is changed in the version, because the new version can be compromised. And if it is compromised, your entire system can be compromised. Finally, if you are vulnerable to this version, instantly downgrade to the previous version, and most importantly, rotate your secrets. Right? Just by downloading to the latest previous version, you will not be safe. Rotate every possible thing that you can. Rotate the SSH keys, that is, change your SSH keys. Rotate the API token. Go to your cloud platform, go to your AI provider, generate a new API token, and start using it. DB secrets, change your database password. Similarly, any sensitive information that you have on the machine, change it as app if you are compromised. Finally, share this video within your network, because a lot of people are actually compromised and they are not aware. Because developers might not follow the security related cases. If you are a DevOps engineer, if you are taking care of systems in your organization, go and check if you have LiteLLM. If yes, what is the version of LiteLLM? Just use this command: pip install pipe grep -i LiteLLM. This will tell you if you have LiteLLM and what is the version of it. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you found it insightful. See you all in the next one. Take care.